Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. I'm not going to be writing down stuff. Hopefully, I'll just have the transcript after.
Mm-hmm.
Should we do a board
Let's,
attendance? At least we
yeah,
know.
let's do a quick roll call. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary Samlani, present.
Okay, Yossi, present.
Soumya here.
Mary.
Bo Garvincher, parliamentarian, present.
Kelly Faraday, present.
Movie present.
Maria Calzada, present.
Okay.
Super. Okay.
So I think we're just missing
Mala.
Mala and Allison, right?
Allison. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Apologies, I'm like going to be eating my dinner because I'm absolutely starving. So don't want you to see that on video.
No worries.
All right. Do you want to wait a couple of minutes to make sure everyone's here or just continue?
Let me take a quick look at the time. It's 7:01. How about we give it another one more minute? I still see people kind of filtering in.
Right.
We have
Okay. Can you guys see the donor page that I have up right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have Mr. Moss in the call?
Mr.
Not yet.
Moss, not yet, I think. By the way, I just wanted to let you guys know, just for the sake of time, because we have a kind of a multifaceted special agenda tonight. We are going to kind of go through a couple of updates, but not everyone's going to update. I think not everybody on the board has specific updates to share. So if I run through everybody and you're not on there, like I don't think everyone has a slide to share. If you're not, but you really want to say something, please, after I'm through with everybody, that's okay. Like if you guys feel like anybody wants to
Yeah.
update something and you weren't on the list, please feel free to do so. But I've tried to whittle it down to the few people I know had slides to share and something like kind of timely to share. But otherwise, we're gonna try to keep it a little, shorter so the special agenda can happen in time.
No, thank you, Yassi. On that note, I will also say that for everyone else, for the folks that attended earlier meetings and or may not have, that the chat typically stays pretty active. So if you are on your phone or if you're on your computer, monitor the chat because we do put links in there that you can click on and save for yourself. We do put information in there. We will also take questions there. So if a speaker is through kind of going through their little spiel, but you want to put a question in, you don't want to disturb the conversation, certainly feel free to put it there and people will get to it as we go through the evening. Okay, on that note, why don't we go ahead and get started, Yasi?
Okay, sounds good. This is generally what the agenda is going to look like for tonight. We've already taken attendance of board members. I will take you to the next page where I've posted and I've spelled minutes wrong, but I've posted the meeting minutes. For anybody who hasn't been to one of these meetings and doesn't know, we always post the meeting minutes to the PTO website. So if you happen to miss a meeting or you want to tell one of your friends who couldn't make it, you can go and read the minutes that are updated on the PTO website, within hopefully a few days of each meeting. So, and then those are there for you to review. And then when we have the next meeting, if anybody has any issues or questions about the previous meeting minutes, this is where we basically discuss them. So, Bogart, do you want to
Motion for the minutes
put a
as
motion
it
to
is.
approve minutes?
Anybody?
Second,
Any objections or any questions? Then meetings pass as is.
Okay, great. Thank
A link
you.
to the meeting minutes, it's in the chat. So as Gauri
Oh,
said, I'll
thanks.
be posting all the links. Keep posting.
Thanks so much, Sonia. All right, we will now hear from our president, Mrs. Samlani.
Gauri, you're
Gauri, I
on
think
mute.
you're mute.
Sorry. I had a very excited start, but so I want to say welcome everyone. Thank you for attending on this Tuesday evening. I know the days are busy and crazy this time of year with so much going on, but it's really unbelievable to think that we have crossed the halfway mark for the school year. And so we're already in February. Next month's going to be spring break, and then just a couple months left after that. So fast and furious, we're approaching the end of the year. So in addition to us being past our halfway point, there are still quite a few things left to do in the year for us. And so I'll go through in my quick discussion here. I'm going to go through what we're planning on doing for this month and the next month coming up. So spring baskets are coming up for our spring break event. Typically, we only do holiday baskets. This is us sending baskets home with kids in need. And we typically only do this for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. This year, we have decided to do it for spring break as well, because this is also a time of year that kids go home and they don't have access to the free lunches that they would get at school. So, but what I do want to say is a huge thank you to all of the parents that donated towards holiday baskets during the Christmas as well as the Thanksgiving timeframe, because we do have money left over that we will be helping fill the spring break baskets as well. And so no further funding is required for this. I'm really happy to say that we'll be able to fill these baskets with no additional ask for funds. So thank you very much for that. In addition to that, couple of fun events that are coming up, which I know our special events VP will also be discussing later in this program. But I do want to call out the Valentine's dance event just happened last Friday. We were talking about that at the beginning of this conversation. For everyone that attended, I heard it was a super fun party, and I saw some really good pictures of the parents that had also showed up to chaperone. So thank you to all the parents. If you are here, give yourselves a hand of applause. It's always nice when the kids can come together, be in school, and have a fun evening as well. The Crash Bash is coming up, and unfortunately, I actually thought that I would have more information to provide about the Crash Bash. But I don't yet. The date has been fixed, but the venue has not. So stay tuned for that. For those of you that don't know what the Crash Bash is, this is our annual PTO party. It's a time of the year when all the parents come together, we celebrate ourselves, and we raise a little money for the PTO. Like I said, we have the date in place, but we don't have the venue yet. So wait for another week or so, and we will be sending some information out about that event. There is also one more student event planned for the year, and the special events VP will be talking about that. That just got approved earlier today, and so she does have more information about that later in this program. In addition to that, I want to give a big shout out to the fact that we are reaching 40% of stipends to date. So stipends are money that we set aside for our teachers to be able to buy supplies for the classroom or any educational support that they need for their classrooms. And so far, of the budget that we have set aside, 40% of that budget has been requested and used, which is great, because now towards the end of the year, we'll start seeing a lot more teachers asking for stuff. So we're super excited that we have the funding, and we're ready to fund those requests as they come in. Thank you, Yasi. If you can take me to the next page. All right. I also want to give a huge shout out to all the parents that showed up, participated in, showed up at the breakfast for Breakfast with Mr. Moss event. You can see some fun pictures there. Really cute little place called Della Coffee that's just down the street from the school. It's a local coffee shop. They support a lot of our students. In fact, the couple times I went in there to book the place, I was able to see at least 2 or 3 tables filled with Carnegie students. So I was excited to, be in a location and a vendor that supported us. And as you can see, quite a few parents that came. It the coffee is usually done once a year. It's to thank all of our donors. And on one of the pictures, in the prior pictures, which will be posted online. We also had a donor, from a corporate donor from Davis Chevrolet. So, yep, thank you, Yasi. Huge thank you to them. If you ever need your car serviced, I do want to give a shout out to them, and please, think of them as they think of us. So, thank you for that. All right, Yasi, moving forward. This is a program that was sent to me by Ms. Matsu from the school. And if you go to this website, kind of towards the bottom of the page, where they say wonderworkshouston.org, they have several summer classes available. They're at the University of Houston as well as Rice University, and different classes from June 16th through July 18th. It's a pre-college enrichment program, something that the school was promoting, and they have classes in all these different fields, in architecture, in history, fiction, creative writing, filmmaking, politics, government, journalism, and much more. So I definitely encourage you to visit that website, wonderworkshouston.org, and see if there's something that can help your kiddos stay productive during the summer. Okay, let's do a quick calendar overview. Let's see. So February, we're almost at the end of February. We had the kids had the zoo trip earlier today. I hope everybody had a lot of fun and is super tired and came back with some fun stories. There was one event on the 24th. We had the teachers' lunch on the 24th that was moved to be next week. And so that has moved to be next Tuesday, and it coincides with Mardi Gras. So we're hopeful that we can have a little fun in the punch with our teachers and celebrate them. In addition to that, we will also be putting together the basket next week, and that basket will be ready for distribution on Friday the 7th. Miss Williams from the school is the one that typically helps us with the basket, and so she will also, oops. Did I just lose you, Yasi?
No, I'm still.
No, we are good.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
okay.
you might
Okay.
have.
No worries, no worries. For some reason, my screen just went blank. But a huge reminder to everybody, remember, spring break's coming up on the 10th through the 14th. And then we come back to school on the 17th. So holidays coming up in less than a couple weeks, and I'm sure the kiddos are super excited about that as well. So on the 22nd of March, let's do a save the date for the 22nd of March. That's when the Crash Bash has been planned. We don't have a location yet, but we're fast and furious working in the background to get one, and it will be announced before the week is out. So definitely mark that on your calendar. It's a really great time for parents to come together, meet each other, and really celebrate each other for all the work that we do behind the scenes to get through a successful year. Okay, that's
Thanks
all
so
I had.
much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Gauri. Thank you very much. I think we'll move to the principal's report. I see Principal Moss is on the call.
Good evening, everybody. And thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I have some items to share, and I'm also sharing on behalf of our past president, Ms. Calzada, who couldn't join us tonight. I can actually put some important dates in the chat. Most of you are probably aware, but I can also post these in the chat. Many of you know that all HISD schools receive visits from district personnel in regards to the independent review in which for Carnegie, since we have 841 students, the team will come in and visit 8 classrooms, observe the instruction and the learning. We will have 4 instances this year. We just had our second IRT, or independent review team, to come through, and we are elated that out of 15 points, we scored a 12. 12 was the average of the 8 classrooms that.
It's on mute. Chili's there, and there's garlic toast in the microwave.
Kelly, you're on mute.
Oh, I'm so.
So we're very happy that we scored a 12. So that's something to celebrate. Also, I'm sure most of you know, and if you don't, the organization Children at Risk rated the best schools at various different levels, elementary, middle, and high. And Carnegie was ranked the #1 school or high school in the Houston area, but also for the very first time, the #1 high school in Texas. So the last pep rally that we had on February 13th, we made that announcement, and that's just one more thing to celebrate Carnegie. So a lot of things, great things are happening at Carnegie, and we certainly want to share that with students. I want to applaud the PTO because more than ever, the interest of the PTO has been to satisfy whatever materials, supplies, any kind of need that not only the teachers have, which ultimately impacts students, but anything that the students need as well, whether it's an individual student. Already mentioned were the food baskets, especially when students have an extended period of time, and especially for our most needy families who might be actually, what do they call it, food insecure. So I applaud the PTO for that, but also the PTO for assisting with sponsoring events, whether it was ice skating or bowling and anything that we have upcoming, just to kind of balance the academics with the extracurriculars. And I think that certainly positively adds to our culture and our climate. We are on the tail end from the school-wide trip to the zoo. I think it was fantastic. I've had so many students to say, thank you for this. You know, we really needed this. And it was just such a fantastic opportunity to actually learn away from campus. We did ask the students upon their return to campus to be involved in short constructed response, which is a big thing in the district, in which the students had to write 3 to 4 sentences on their experience, kind of tie it to conservation or preservation, or just have an opportunity to illustrate what a great learning experience that was. So we're very happy that that was also part of the celebration for the accolades that we've been able to accrue just most recently. I won't talk about all of these events, but I will put these dates in the chat. You all may know we're at the beginning of cycle 5. We're also entering test season, whether it is the state tests with STAR for English 1, English 2, Algebra 1, Biology, and US History, but also preparing, believe it or not, for our May AP test for advanced placement, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. We just recently got the early spring dates for our seniors. Typically, the district wants seniors to take finals early so that if there's a need for retakes or any other possibilities to ensure that students can pass all of their classes well in advance of graduation. I want to say it's so early that it's even an overlap with some of the ending AP exams, but of course we will work all of that out. On behalf of Ms. Calzada, I do want to mention for the Shared Decision-Making Committee, which of course all schools must have in SDMC, we focused our attention for January as well as February on TES, which stands for the Teacher Excellence System, which will in some capacity be affected or affect our teachers next year. The district came up, or they proposed 6 different options, and holistically the district will follow option B. And I'll probably send a graphic out so that it explains the percentage of which the school will be rated based on student performance, planning and professionalism of teachers, a school action plan that we will put in place for goals that the school will meet for next year, so on and so forth. I believe sometime in April, administration, along with teacher input, will actually put together that school action plan. Typically, we want to make advances academically. So we'll look at our performance last year, our performance this year, and then project where we can possibly make advances for next year. Sometimes that's very difficult, especially for schools like Carnegie, in which our academic performance is already at such a high level. But the district wants us to still make improvements. For us, the improvements will most likely be small improvements because, again, we don't have a lot of room for growth. Of course, we're not perfect, and so we do want to continue to make progress and growth academically. But anyway, sometime probably in May, we will share with parents what that action plan actually looks like. So that's for SDMC. We also have a campus beautification project. We're looking at various different things. For me, it's extremely important that the aesthetics, even before we have guests or visitors or parents who come into the building, first impressions are lasting impressions. So earlier this year, we actually hired a company to, I guess, trim the trees. We had installation of several plants, but we're still working with the district in regards to the irrigation system. And hopefully that will be fixed and operational prior to the elevated temperatures, basically before it gets like super hot. I know that this is probably no consolation, but we are experiencing some issues with our HVAC system, whether it's cold temperatures outside or, well, that's what's been recent. And it unfortunately has affected our building more this year than it ever has in the past. Typically, it's when we have elevated temperatures that the HVAC or the AC has issues, early fall, and then also towards the end of the school or the school year. The district does not have enough spot chillers or coolers to go around to all schools that are experiencing difficulties. And again, it's unfortunate that we're not the only school. So there are schools, and especially some schools that are recent builds, that I don't understand why HVAC is still an issue with some of our schools that are maybe 3 and 4 years old. But our supervisors are aware of that. I know it's no consolation, but I've asked our school staff to look into purchase of water bottles. Of course, we have a couple of ice machines, and we have water bottle refilling stations. And of course, students have that to their avail in order to keep them cool. Also with FACE committee. FACE stands for Family and Community Engagement, and we work with the FACE department within HISD. The great thing about FACE and us being elevated to a higher level is that we've kind of set the bar the last couple of years with all of the activities that we do in conjunction with the PTO. So basically, it's kind of following suit with all of the things that we offer, including the meals that we plan for our needy families, the programs that we offer, not only with our general PTO meetings, but specialized programming that we have outside of that. And I know we have parent members of SDMC and Campus Beautification and also FACE. So feel free to chime in if there's anything that I have neglected to mention. The PTO was also generous with assisting with funding, working with, let me back up a little bit. You all may be familiar with something connected with FACE called POSIP, in which you receive either a text message or an email asking you for your feedback in regards to the school, in regards to our programming, so on and so forth. We found an outside organization called Challenge Success that has specialized questioning. We administered a survey to students to kind of give us a different perspective. We have received that feedback, and we're working with Challenge Success on how do we address some of the feedback that the students have presented. On tomorrow, we have a follow-up with the representative from Challenge Success as how do we best address some of that feedback. So you'll hear more about that once we actually have a plan. In regards to the upcoming state testing, there are 5 different tests that affect freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Because we have the highest level of defined autonomy among all schools within HISD, something simple that we're able to do is actually consolidate 5 separate days of testing into 3. So this really helps with efficiency and helping to protect instructional time that teachers have with students. So instead of 5 days, we actually have 3. So one of those days, we're actually going to administer the STAR, English 1, English 2, and US history all on one day. So freshmen, sophomores, and juniors will be testing with that. And then our seniors will actually have a mock AP economics test that our senior teacher in that course will instruct. So it'll be a busy day for testing, and I'll have to look at the calendar to articulate what specific day that is. But we're very happy we've been able to consolidate from 5 individual days down to 3. And then last but not least, we're in the hiring season. As of now, unfortunately, we have one teacher who is leaving, and actually last Friday was her last day, and that's Ms. Jane Schultz from our AP seminar class. So in the interim, we actually have a long-term sub in AP seminar. That works out quite nicely because AP seminar is one of the 2 classes associated with the AP capstone program. And at this point, it's more individualized work that the students do. And so our long-term sub is Ms. Hunt, who is a frequent sub for Carnegie. And so she'll be instrumental with that. The other course that Ms. Schultz teaches is AP European history. And the benefit that we have with Ms. Hunt is that we can rely upon College Board's AP classroom specific for AP European history. And then we also have other teachers within the district who will assist us with the guidance to students, the grading of the work that they are expected to submit. And that will be for both AP Seminar and AP European History. There is a hiring event this Saturday at Bel Air in which Ms. Matsu will accompany me, and we will field candidates who want to be considered for next year's full year vacancy for that AP seminar. Our counselors are working with the course selection sheet of our students. And one thing that was brought to my attention by a few parents is that the students may have completed their course selection unbeknownst or without influence of their parents. So I will have a phone notification. We will actually have a printout of the course selection sheets that we'll send home so that parents can actually return that with the signature to illustrate that they are aware of the courses that the students have selected for next year. And I believe those are the major events that I wanted to share with everyone. And as soon as I'm done, I will post some important dates in the chat that everybody can refer to. Matter of fact, I'm looking at it right now. A lot of those dates are upcoming. And of course, for the next PTO meeting, we will extend that with April and then, of course, May dates. So I am here for the remainder of the meeting tonight. And if anyone wants to place a question in the chat or unmute their mic and ask that question, I'm happy to attempt to address any of those questions.
Thank you, Principal Moss, for all of the great work that you do.
Thank you all.
If there are no questions, which I don't think there are any questions in the chat, we will go to our officers' reports. And we will hear from, oh my God, my spelling today, I'm so sorry, from our treasurer. I don't know what's going on.
Somebody forgot to
Our
use Grammarly, right?
our lovely treasurer, Mala.
Thank you, Yasi. First of all, before I start, Mr. Moss, yes, my daughter, Junior, very happy, came back from a zoo trip, super excited. She was like, wow, this was not what I expected. So it looks like, I don't know what you guys did today. There was some magic involved. Every student that came home, looks like, majority, I would say, looks like they were happy. So
Thank you.
Totally agree, Mala. I got the same feedback from kids who never seem to be satisfied with anything.
oh my God, yes,
That
exactly.
music to my ears, and the students are so creative. And actually, Mr. Garner gets the majority of the credit because he planned the logistics and everything with that. The teachers were phenomenal. Our staff is I can't rave enough about them and their assistance with everything. So I'm so thrilled that the kids enjoyed it.
Yes. I mean, to quote unquote, she actually was like, I'm glad the teacher trusted us. We were not treated like elementary kids. So, so definitely, something was done today that really made everybody so happy. I hope you guys will see happy smiling faces for the rest of the week. So
Just my observation I wanted to add, Mr. Moss, was it wasn't just about preservation and conservation, but I saw the kids showing leadership.
yes.
And they were very, very self-organized and on time, and really, as a parent who didn't have, we had two parents, we didn't have any teachers, just, again, they were on top of everything, well before we were. So kudos to the Carnegie team for not just making kids that are, interested in science, but also our leaders.
And thank you all parents for assisting and assisting with chaperoning. Whatever our needs are, we'll put feelers out, and whatever we ask of PTO and parents, you all always hit the ball out of the park. So thank you everyone who assisted today.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. All right. And before I start, I just want to answer one question. I just had a friend of mine who asked why it's called Crash Bash. So I know, I'm glad she didn't Google, she'd asked me. So I thought I would answer for if anybody doesn't know, Crash is actually a group of rhinos, and Carnegie, we are all rhinos. So Crash Bash is a group of rhinos partying together. So that's what it means. And we are so ready to party almost in a month. So once our committee decides on a place. So there's that little fun fact. Now on to my report. So this year, as Gauri mentioned, in terms of revenue, this is a statement of activity up till now. When I say now, up till last week, when I just did all the numbers. So we have about 75,978, which is close to 76,000. It doesn't have another 4,000 in checks, which I put in the bank today. So we are now 80,000 plus in revenue in terms of all the donations we received in many forms. So thanks to everybody who donated, every penny counts. And this is what it shows, that when you add everything together, we met our goal pretty quickly this year. It's not even March. And that's why this year's Crash Bash is going to be more fun, because we'll have, we don't have big asks to fulfill this year, but it's more of, a fun event. So thanks to everybody for that. So once we go down, I mean, these are just the numbers of, all the expenses. You see a fall fundraiser venue expense in there, which we had a small parent social back in fall for that. Then we also have some swag sales. So, swag sales is more of, PTO's one way to promote a Carnegie spirit. So it's not like much more of a money-making thing for PTO. It's more of actually efforts. But we did still ended up making almost $819 out of it. Then we also have small stored core donations. This is a money that comes automatically because all the parents in the past have used Carnegie or Carnegie Vanguard High School PTO as their favored charity for a cashback. So if any one of you ever shops from Kroger or Randall's, once you do this one in your lifetime, you never probably have to do it again. It's like they just automatically send money. It's not a lot, but as I said, every penny counts. So we do receive almost 319 so far, and this number really comes close to like 450 at the end of the year. So $450 for doing nothing is still a lot of money, So please, next time you do, if you have not done it, go to Kroger or Randall's. It wouldn't take much time, but just adding a Carnegie Vanguard High School PTO as your favorite charity will give us some cash back from these organizations, these companies. And that's our pretty much total revenue so far. It's close to $75,000. And then going down, we have expenditures. It's pretty much, first item is prior period expenses. Some of the items, once the June ends, this is our cash-based statement of activity. It doesn't have accrual system. So if anything doesn't get cashed by June, if it comes in July or August, this is where those expenses are categorized. So that's prior period expenses, which basically belong to the school year 23-24. So that's that. And then down we have some PTO operating expenses, various permits or Zoom fees, or any kind of online platform we use. That's pretty much the membership fee. Further going down, we have PTO event, special event expenses. We have that. That's $3,500. That is all the expenses we have incurred so far in terms of our bowling event or ice skating event or any kind of dance help PTO provides, any kind of ask from the school for dances or any kind of things. This is the category for that. Going further down, we have teacher appreciation events or appreciation lunches. So any kind of a lunch every month, which PTO provides to the teachers, that's that category. And appreciation events are any kind of appreciation held for whether the officers, counselors, or any kind of a staff member or Carnegie. This is the category for that. Pretty much, and that's all just bits of expenses here and there. And there's a food drive for holidays, which Gauri mentioned in the beginning. item number 62310, that's we have almost spent $1,500 so far for fulfilling a Christmas as well as Thanksgiving. Food, that's that. Now we'll have the March spring one coming up, but we do have a money for that. So thank you so much for everybody who donated. Going down, we have teacher support. This is and the teacher supplies. So anytime the teachers ask us any kind of help, and the supplies as well, this is pretty much where the stipend we give every teacher in Carnegie. Just the teachers, the ones who give some learning, only those. So if not a counselor or anybody, but just the teachers in Carnegie get $400 stipend every year. And if they don't use it, it doesn't get rollover. They lose it. So far, almost 10,000 has been spent towards the stipend or teacher supplies and support. So all in all, so far we have a positive revenue of 47,000, but this is a very now our bigger asks will start coming. It always happens in the end of the year. So you'll see that net revenue going down pretty quickly in next 2 months. But I would not worry. Our goal is to raise money and spend money, and we are definitely, we are nonprofit, so this is what we're going to achieve. Whatever we raise, we try to use it all on our kids. So thank you so much for everybody, to everybody for listening, and and let me know if you have any questions. My email is treasurer, TREASURER @cvhspto.org. Or you can even email to any board member asking any question about the finances, and they will forward that email to me as well. So thank you so much, and over to you, Yasi.
Thank you so much, Mala. That was so concise that even I could follow it. Yes, and I think that the budget is also posted, if I'm not mistaken, on our PTO website, if anybody
Yes.
ever wants to go on there and look at it for themselves too in
Yes,
detail.
yes. Everything is, we try to post everything online as
Yes.
much as possible for everybody to go through after that as well. So, and if you have any questions right now, you can put it in the message, and I can even reach out to you separately, or you can say it right now as well. So it's not a problem.
Perfect. I don't see any questions in the chat, but if anybody wants to post it, please go ahead. The chat's being monitored. And in the meantime, we'll continue with our VP of Volunteers, Mary, who will tell us a few of the updates.
Had to unmute. Sorry, it took 2 seconds. So as part of my role, we have the College Readiness Committee and Volunteer and Membership Committee. Those are the 3 committees that I'm responsible for. So for College Readiness, we are partnering with Ms. Galloway. She has a very good idea, and also our committee also proposed this Rising Senior session. So Ms. Galloway suggested that it will be ideal to have it in person. So we are planning the session to have it on the April 30th night. So more details will be coming in, and it is called the Rising Senior Night. More information for our current juniors. Yeah. And
Hey, Mary, quick
oh.
question on that. And that's an in-person event, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And we will be sending out the
Mary,
time.
I'm so sorry. I forgot to change the faculty lunch thing on this.
Oh, that's okay.
It is no longer,
Gauri-
obviously,
yeah.
was not, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes, it's on the
lunch-
calendar. It's right. It is not today.
No worries. So faculty lunch is scheduled for next Tuesday, and our amazing volunteer, Alex, she does that every month. Thank you, Alex. And we had a lot of volunteers, and our slots were full for Valentine's dance that happened last week, and also for our field trip. And Mr. Moss already thanked our parent volunteers who went for the trip. And thank you to all the other volunteers. Whenever I reach out with the sign-up genius, it usually gets immediately full. Thank you. Without your support, we couldn't get all these activities done. And the spring holiday basket that is planned for 224. And Lilia is assisting with that and working with Miss Williams to do that. Thank you, Lilia. And we had a couple of celebrations last month. More celebrations will be there in April and May, celebrating our volunteers, celebrating our teachers, more to come. So March, we do not have a lot of celebrations, but we had the National Resources Officer Week as well as the Counselors Week. And you can see all the pictures and Pavani and Eunice helped with coordinating and helping with all the celebrations, which you can see in the pictures. And these are all the volunteers for the ice skating event. And also you saw the volunteers for our Valentine's Day event, dance event. Awesome. Thank you, parents.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mary. If there are no questions, we'll move on to our VP of Special Events, Vaibhavi, who will give us a quick update.
Hi, can you all see me, hear me, both? Yasi,
We
can you hear me?
you at least.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. We actually sent a poll out for whether we wanted to combine an event, which is the Crash Bash, and because they're so close to each other, we like maybe we should the student and the parent event can be combined, but I think certain classes unanimously they were like, no, we want separate events, and certain classes were like, we want events together, and we were not sure how the kids feel about it, so we just decided to have two separate events. However, so Top Golf is scheduled for April 6th. We will be sending out, watch out in your email, text, WhatsApp to get that PayPal link for signing up. It's April 6th. There will be no walk-ins this time, at least for now, because there's a very set number and we have to get everything done 7 days before the event. So it's on a Sunday. It's 6 to 8. We're booking half the floor. And then what we thought, the committee was talking and we're like, maybe we should just have parents can hang out. There is a bar at Top Golf. So it's a distance. So maybe that will kind of we'll do a mini crash bash, like a prep for the crash bash. No, post crash bash, because crash bash comes first. Anyway, you see my wheels are turning about how to party more. The other thing is we had a great turnout for the ice skating. So thanks to all the parents for like sending your kids, pushing your kids. Please do the same for all these events because we want to make sure that everybody's included and all grades do show up for this because this is for the students so that they can relax and have fun. Any questions, feel free to put it in the chat or just ask away. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaibhavi. I just want to say that as you mentioned, the ice skating event was a huge success, and I've already gotten feedback about this Top Golf event, and the kids seem excited about it. So whoever's on this call, please encourage your kids to come. I think this is a really cool idea. They actually seem to really like this idea. And then, as Vaibhavi said, if you guys are dropping off your kids and you don't want to wait in the parking lot for 2 hours, come inside and, some of us parents will just be hanging out away from the kids so they don't have to see us and worry. But, we'll just hang out at the bar and chat while they have fun.
And Vaibhavi, before I let you go, can you please explain that the $10 includes what?
So the $10 will include, it includes the drink. I think it's unlimited soda. And then the PTO will provide food. So that's just a way so that.
And the bay.
And the bay,
So
yes.
the golfing, yeah. There will be 2 hours open golfing for the kids. Drinks and some food will also be provided.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. That's great. That's an amazing deal, honestly, for $10.
Thank
you. Thank you so much. Let's hear from our communications IT VP, who is Samya, and she will tell us about a lot of the amazing work that's being done in trying to stay connected and get the word out there.
So it's like we are everywhere, right? So we have our grade level WhatsApp groups. We post all the messages, any updates, any links and reminders, everything over there. If you're not part of the WhatsApp group, I can put the link in the chat. We have like for class of 2025, 26, 27, and 28. We already have more than 150 parents and freshman group, and we do have a good number of parents and other groups as well. And we have our Instagram, Facebook, where we have a lot of followers. We keep things over there, like we update it, we send the reminders. So we post it every time, right? Whenever important events happens. And YouTube, so we are like very active in YouTube. We upload all our PTO meetings there. We also take a clip of important events like a financial literacy, which happened in the previous PTO meeting. We just took a clip of it, made as a short video, so that if you are just interested in that, you can just go there and watch. And we have for senior scholarship committee, and we have so many videos. And we recently uploaded Mr. Moss's reel, so that has like a lot of reach. And we have PTO website. We keep the website up to date. There are many pages exclusive for senior scholarship, for FACE, and we have for college readiness and many. And we have exclusive page for freshman parents. And if you need help logging into Canvas, it's there. And if you need any help, what does Agile Help means, we have an exclusive page for that as well. So it's like if you haven't visited any of these, please go check. And if you have any feedbacks, comments, or if you have any suggestions, please reach out to me. You can reach me at communications@cvhspto.org. Yeah, also, yeah, that's a last point, right? The newsletter. We send a monthly newsletter. Mostly we will send either the second Sunday or third Sunday. We'll pretty much cover all the past events and the future events, the important updates and links over there. So if you're not getting newsletter, please let me know. I can add you in the distribution list. So these are the updates from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samia. That's wonderful. And I encourage anybody who's on this call, or if you know friends and families that are part of the CVHS family who aren't, to definitely try to link with us on any of these platforms, and also just go on the website. The information's constantly updated and very user-friendly. As Samia said, there's just a link to everything and a way to know what's going on, calendar. All the information is there. So please check the website often. And now I think we will move on to our special agenda for the night. We have 3 different topics that we're going to discuss. So hopefully you guys are all still here and will follow us along on what's about to come. We will just go in the order that I've listed here. Gari, I don't know if you want to do any introduction, or do you want to just go on? You're on mute, Gari.
Hey, I was doing a call out to see if Elizabeth was here to talk about senior scholarships.
Yes, hi, I'm here. Yes.
Hey, perfect. All right.
Hello.
So Elizabeth is our chair for the scholarship committee. And for those of you that were here at the last meeting, she gave us a nice rundown on what was happening with the senior scholarships, the dates, etc. And now she's back to help us kind of understand where we are in the process and encourage parents to also know kind of what's happening with scholarships that their kids should be applying to. So with that, Elizabeth, thank you so much. Go ahead.
Of course. Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, absolutely. So, if I can, I'm just on my phone right now because I am traveling, so I apologize, but I can, oh, great. You have it here. So thank you so much. So yes, the senior scholarships have opened. It opened February 1st, and we are accepting registration applications, until April 13th. We are doing this through Membership Toolkit so that we can get the names and start building rosters for our students as they move along in the future so that we can have their information. It's great for future when we talk about, who's kind of left Carnegie, who can come back. But this application is open to all of our seniors. It's not GPA dependent, it's not need based. We encourage everybody to come to this page through Membership Toolkit and submit their application. We're asking that our students, put basic information in, but then also we have 3 different prompts. These prompts are really there to kind of elicit some really genuine responses, and it's a very simple 200 word essay. Submit their resume so that we can take a look, and we are excited to kind of have this. We've already had quite a few students submit their applications. Again, it's open until April 13th. Then myself and my review committee are going to be looking to see who can come back for an interview. We're going to have 10 scholarships of $1,000. That's up from previous years so that we can give out more scholarships to folks, and then also have honorable mentions as well. So that is a nice addition as well that we have, and we're excited to get these applications. And we know that it's not, $1,000 isn't everything, but that's a little pocket money that's nice as our students move off into colleges or however they'd like to spend their time. It's nice for the future, so we're excited to do that. Again, this is in Membership Toolkit. I did post the link in the chat. If you don't have access or confused where to find that information, Carnegie does a great job on their Membership Toolkit kit page. Again, if you have any issues, please, you can email any of the board members or a senior scholarship at cvhspto.org, and I'm happy to help your student. You can, through this page, through Membership Toolkit, you can submit, and then you can always update your application. If your student says, oops, I forgot to do something, it's not exactly right, they do have an option to update it, so that's there as well. Do we have any questions? Excellent.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
That all seems so user-friendly and accessible. I don't see any questions in the chat, but if anybody posts any questions and we get to them, I'm sure we
Yeah,
can.
see, I went ahead and I put the email that they can send questions to as well.
Thank you.
So if the students are having an issue as you go from now until April 13th, sending in the applications, they can certainly email at the scholarships at cvhspto.org and get a personalized answer. But thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Perfect. Okay. Now we'll move on to the second item on our special agenda, is going to be presented by Meghna Goswami. Oh my God, I think this is my 3rd spelling mistake. Meghna, I think I spelled your name wrong. It's an A,
No.
isn't it?
You spelled it perfectly.
That's right. Oh, okay. I was like, this will just be the cake topper,
You did great.
Um,
Sure. Thanks.
right.
Yassi. Would you mind moving to the next slide?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much. As you all know, one of the big roles that the PTO at Carnegie plays is just to be here to support many of our students and families with some of their needs that they may have. And then if y'all are following the news, you know that there are several federal policies currently that impact many immigrant families that belong to Carnegie. So we had internal conversations at the PTO just to make sure that we were here as a resource for families who may need information and resources at this time. So there are a couple of things that we've planned over the next few months that we wanted to share with you all. The first is a family preparedness and know your rights session. It's going to be a virtual session, and we have an updated date. So it's March 6th. So it's next Thursday at 7 o'clock. We'll be sending the Zoom link soon. So we wanted to make sure that y'all were aware of this. Houston Immigration Legal Services Collaborative, who we are partnering with, is one of the foremost nonprofit legal services coordinating entities in Houston. They actually led one of the Know Your Rights sessions for Broad HISD last Saturday in one of their family fairs. So they're very experienced, and we think they're just going to be a really good partner. So we hope you can share information about this session with folks at CVHS who might be interested in attending. The second is there is, and I'll put everything in the chat. This is again to share with community members who may be in need. HILSC has also runs the Immigration Resource Hotline. It's free of charge, and it's an excellent space just to get really good information around folks who may be kind of wondering what policies impact them, and if they are in need of legal support or social services support. The Immigration Resource Hotline is a really good space. And then third is it's a website called Access Hue. Again, it's an excellent resource for immigrant families who may be looking for free resources, especially around immigration legal services and social services. And then the fourth one, and we can do this as a workshop as well, but one thing that I know a lot of families have been worried about is what happens if either parents are deported, what happens to the child. And Houston Volunteer Lawyers Program, which is part of the American Bar Association, the Houston Bar Association, is providing free workshops to provide something called a non-parent authorization document that allows, if you have a really trusted family member or a friend who you think would do a really good job taking care of your children, that's a good way to kind of have a non-parent authorization document taken care of. So we'll share this information. I think at the family preparedness workshop, we'll share some more information about this. And if we feel there's a need to actually host a session for CVHS families, we can easily bring them over. So I'm going to share all of this information by chat as well. I think my only request is that the PTO is here as a resource. We want to be as helpful as possible. There are really good nonprofit service providers in Houston that provide not just immigration legal services, but other resources for immigrant families as well. So it will be good if we are able to share this widely with our networks within CVHS. So looking forward to the session next Thursday. And happy to answer
Thank you so much,
questions.
Meghna.
Yeah, and I also, I'm I work closely with the nonprofit sector in Houston. So if anybody within the CVHS network needs to get connected and are having problems doing so, happy to help with the connection.
Thank you so much, Meghna. This is really useful information. We do have a suggestion in chat that says, could we please have interpreters and/or bilingual speakers? So it's just something we can take back.
I'm sorry, I should have shared this. There will be two speakers, one who speaks English and one who speaks Spanish. If there are other language needs, if you could just let me know, I'm happy to figure out if there's a way to provide translation interpretation services.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Meghna. I feel like this is such timely work that you're doing, and it's so important. And thank you for facilitating this. And I just want to say for all the people who are on this call, I feel like you're maybe representatives of the people who aren't on this call. Please reach out and let anybody you know who's got worries about this or questions about this topic. I know a lot of people are confused and worried these days, and Thank you, Meghna, for just making it so concise and so accessible. So, and now we'll go to our last item on our special agenda, which is going to be presented by Kate Colston on how to avoid, identify, and manage burnout.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me here. This is my favorite PTO in the world. I am so excited and privileged to be here. So if you want to go ahead and jump to our next slide, and then I think we can go one more too. Thank you so much. So like I said, just a brief introduction before we get started. My name is Kate. I work for an organization called the Pangea Network, and we work in providing access to education. And we have programs in Kenya, and we have programs in the US. And I actually just got back from a stint with our Kenya team last week. So I am up past 7 p.m. tonight, which feels like a huge victory. But if I have some weird nonsense in there, I think I did leave a little chunk of my brain back in Nairobi. So please, thank you for your grace in advance as I am reorienting to this continent. But that being said, I grew up in Houston. I really love this community. I'm on the north side, but all of our work with Carnegie Vanguard students has been really, really impressive and wonderful. You guys have phenomenal kids. I'm just so blown away by them all the time. I run our US program for the Pangea Network. This is the Young Women's Leadership Challenge. It's a year-long program for high school girls, and I did it myself when I was in high school. And after a brief stint in astrophysics and then in software, I am back working for Pangea full-time. And one of the things that we focus on with our students quite a bit is self-esteem and body image. We spend a whole day on this. And this is where this conversation about burnout with our students was really born. And so I'm excited to share this with you all, and hopefully it helps foster some really positive conversations. So on to the next slide. Before we move into the activity, I wanted to highlight just where some sources of burnout might be coming from. There's a study done by Harvard, some folks at Harvard and Indiana University, and Common Sense Media, which is a great organization. If you haven't heard of them, just personally, subjective opinion plugging in here, Common Sense Media is really, really cool. They do a lot of good work. But that being said, they found that about 4 out of 5 teens in America will share that they have negative pressure in at least one of the following areas. And then the study goes on to say that at least 50% say they feel negative pressure in some combination of these areas, 2 or more. Looking at future planning, achievement, appearance, social life, friendship, activism, and just this really incessant need to be excellent all the time, and that weight and that pressure. What our students will tell us is that even if that isn't felt at home or from their families at all, it is so prevalent outside of that, really just socially. I can't say that this is entirely because of social media, but I will say that there's now, like, students are even watching videos of other students being accepted to colleges, and that might not even be real. And so there's really just this growing snowballing effect of the strive for perfection that a lot of students have told us that they're experiencing. I want to point out here too that social life and friendship are different here. I think that given social media's rise in use and among young people, social life has an air of performance to it, where students feel the need to not only, have friendships and have people around them, but also they have to show that they're relevant, that they're doing the fun things and they're doing the cool things, and just that performance, and that, oh, I have to, curate my feed to look a certain way. We all know about that kind of pressure and just, the way that it can impact day-to-day life. So that being said, I would point out as well, we've heard the term burnout, the term stress management from students unprompted a lot more since COVID. And this is something that we added to our curriculum per their request. And so With that, if you would like to move to our next slide, please. We developed this activity from one of our really amazing guest speakers. She is a grief counselor. Her name is Libby Carstensen, and she's just a really amazing professional woman who walked us through this, and it's just been really empowering for a lot of our students. They really like this activity, and for me personally, and I've done it often since I learned about it. So we would look at burnout as a loss of connection to your core values, where you're not enacting them. You're working and working and working and doing things, and you're almost losing that why and that motivation. And ask our students to take a look at this list and think about, as you are going to soccer practice and as you're walking the hallways with your friends, or you're in a group project meeting, what are the experiences that make that really fulfilling for you? What are the feelings that make that feel productive or awesome or really make you happy and proud? Is it beauty? Is it spirituality? Is it nature? And these can really be different for every person. We really encourage conversation here with our students because we find that most people's are very different. And I will do this with my close friends and find out that their values are very different from mine. Doing this at different times in your life, your values will change. Maybe growth was important to me at one point, but now it's something that I don't want to prioritize, and I want to focus on hope. And that's what's getting me through day to day. So know that this changes. We really try to emphasize that there is no one value or set of values that's more correct or better to have as part of your core than others, but really taking the time to be introspective here and thinking about this. And so you all know, this list is from Dr. Brene Brown's website. We're big fans of Dr. Brene Brown. She's a Houston native. We love her at the Pangea Network. If any of y'all know her and want to make an introduction, I'm totally always available for it. But that being said, this is just a list of values as an example. There are plenty that aren't listed that could be in your repertoire that you really need to meet. I know that my mama would really like to see cleanliness on here, and I don't see it, but it would probably be in her top 5. So just using this as a starting point. There are lots of lists out there, but starting with, this kind of example, and then on to our next slide, we get into the nitty-gritty. And so this is where I would encourage students to do this as a group. I think it's good to do on your own. Like I said, I do this regularly, and this is how I prevent burnout, because, my job is my life and I love it, but I have to take this step and think about where I am. But I will also say doing this in community is a really, really eye-opening experience. I've done this with my family before. I find it really interesting, and just a really good time for us to support each other. So that being said, looking at this list, writing down maybe your top 5 values, and then of those top 5, what are your top 3? So I would say for me, in my top 3 right now are fun, connection, and maybe trust. And those would be like things that I feel like when I experience those every day, I can sleep easy. I feel peace. I feel wholehearted and fulfilled. And so looking at the past 7 days, in the past week, rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 of where you feel like those values were met, how well that you feel you enacted them, and looking at where you're lacking and where you're excelling, and what makes you feel like you are enacting these successfully. So for me, I would say maybe I'm lacking in fun. I have not made it a priority. I have not done things just for the sake of joy lately, and I think I need to bake something delicious and cute just because I want to and because it will be fun for me. I would say I'm probably excelling in community right now because I've tried to intentionally be present when I am out and about and chit chat with my cashiers and people in the grocery store and just wherever I am, and trying to really enjoy my environment. And so I would say that because I am, not walking around with my headphones in, I'm there and I'm paying attention to the people around me, I'm probably pretty successful in feeling community right now. And then the next step to this, I think, is the key. This is what makes this activity really empowering, and looking at the next week. So after reflecting on the past one, moving forward, what can we say yes to prioritize values and to enact them better? And then what do you need to say no to? Hard, tough questions. I think I probably need to say no to maybe checking my emails after 7 sometimes, or I need to say yes to spending more time with my grandma and feeling more connected to her. And I know that I need to do that to feel more whole and to avoid that kind of cynicism and hopelessness that burnout can churn. And that is the whole activity. Again, I strongly recommend doing this in community. And I would say this is something that you can do when you're feeling burnout. This is the check-in. And this is when you can sit down and say, okay, what's important to me? And am I doing that? And am I doing that very well at all? And then how can I get better? And putting an action item to that rather than just spiraling into it, which would be totally my nature. So that is our burnout prevention tactic. And if you want to move to the next slide. Oh, I see this as something, is this an activity that you recommend parents do with their kids? I would say absolutely. I think it builds a lot of openness if you can do this with your kids and share where you need support from your family and where you can support them. I think that it opens up a really, really cool conversation. It's just builds trust and community. I think I like doing it with my own parents, and I am their adult child. So I think it would be great for families to do together, or just with students among their peers. Like I said, I do this with my friends. Oh.
Doesn't come, I'm gonna throw them away.
Okay. I again will share that this is part of our Young Women's Leadership Challenge curriculum. This is a year-long program for high school girls. We focus a lot on things like this, managing stress, self-esteem, and body image, in addition to a career panel that we have come in, global issues, financial literacy, just all kinds of good stuff. And we start with a conference at Rice. We have 2 cohorts available this year, and we have had a lot of Carnegie applications this year. And I'm really, really impressed with these applications. Your kids are very busy, but they're amazing and they're really good writers. So thank you to those of you who have had your daughters submit applications already. And I'm just really excited to see more from Carnegie students. I think that you guys are doing something really wonderful here, and we're so grateful to get to reap some of those benefits and bring them into this really awesome network of women. But that is all I have for tonight. So thank you again for this opportunity. And I am here for any questions, comments, thoughts. If there's something we can do to improve, please let us know. We're always open to it.
Thank you so much, Kate. This is it's a really a timely conversation, and I know that there's a lot of kids kind of especially some of the juniors that are getting ready for the SATs, seniors that have just come off of kind of application frenzy, and so a good time for several of our students and kiddos to be thinking about, hey, have I taken a moment to breathe? So I love the activity.
Oh, I think I maybe lost sound in the last part there, but thank you so much. And I hope that this is useful and helpful. And this is my email and my personal cell phone number here. So if any questions, comments, thoughts arise, I'm always open to it. This is my favorite thing to talk about, so I'm always available. Except maybe when I'm prioritizing my fun, when I need it.
Thanks, Kate. That's wonderful. And honestly, I feel like not just we all need this. We all should do this activity with ourselves,
Oh, I wish I
especially in
could
this
take the
day and
credit.
age.
Yes. Thank
Well, you're
you.
doing very good work out there. So thank you so much. I don't see any questions in the chat, and I think that you were our last speaker. So if there are no questions in general, Gary, I think we're ready to wrap up our meeting in a
Yeah,
timely fashion.
absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending. Thank you, Kate. Thank you for all the speakers, Elizabeth and Meghna. We appreciate you guys. Thank you, Mr. Moss, for being there every Tuesday, once a month for us. I appreciate it. And all the board members and all of the PTO members that showed up. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Night.